Hi class, in this video, we are going to discuss representing real-life situations using exponential functions. First, let's define what is exponential function. So, exponential function with a base p is a function of the form f of x is equal to b raised to x or y is equal to b raised to x, where your base is greater than 0 and not equal to 1. So, exponential functions are used to model and illustrate real-life situations such as population growth, radioactive decay, and carbon dating, growth of an epidemic, loans, loan interest, and investment. But particularly, we will focus on this real-life situations. We have the population growth, exponential decay, compound interest, and natural exponential function. Let's have an example. Suppose a culture of 300 bacteria at MJD farm is put in a petri dish and culture doubles every 10 hours. Give an exponential model for the situation and how many bacteria will there be after 90 hours. So for our example number 1, first thing we have to do is to give an exponential model for this situation. Then from there, we can solve or find how many bacteria will there be after 90 hours. So first thing we have to do is to represent our number of bacteria. So let's say we let y be equal to the number of bacteria. Then, let's go back and understand our problem. So, sabi dito, originally, we have 300 bacteria. So, we have y is equal to 300 bacteria. And it will double, this culture of bacteria will double after every 10 hours. So, first, dun sa original natin na 300 bacteria, ang magiging time natin is 0. Now, for the first 10 hours, so, ano mangyayari? First 10 hours, ano mangyayari sa ating y? Sabi sa problem is that it will double. So, magiging times 2 siya. So, ang ating number of bacteria for the first 10 hours is 600. Next, how about after another 10 hours? So, let's say our T is equal to 20. So, how many bacteria na ang meron sa ating petri dish? So, again, alam natin na we have 300 bacteria and it will double every 10 hours. So, what happens here is that after another 10 hours, so itong ating equation ay dodoblehin lang natin. So, ang mangyayari lang, we will raise our 2 by another 2 kasi umulit yung cycle, dumoble ulit siya. So, you will have now 2 raised to 2 is 4 times 300 equal to 1,200. So, how about if another 10 hours will be added? So, you will have T is equal to 30. Then, Y will now be 300 times 2 raised to, kasi tatlong beses na naulit. So, that would be 2 raised to 3. So, the number of bacteria now will be 2 raised to 3 is 8 times 300. You will have 2,400. And then, another, halimbawa last, let's say, another 10 hours will be added. So, you will have 40 as your time, then y is equal to 300 times 2 raised to 4 kasi apat na beses na nangyari yung pagdoble in every 10 hours. So, 2 raised to 4 is 16 times 300. That is 4,800 bacteria. So, therefore, how will we represent our exponential model for this situation? So, we can say that y is equal to 300 times 2 raised to Napapansin mo naman po, no? 2, yung ating exponent. Anong nangyayari sa ating time? Na 20. 3, from our time na 30. 4, from our time na 40. So, what happens is that we just divide our time by 10. So, therefore, this is our exponential model for our example number 1. So, with that, we can now easily solve or find how many bacteria will there be after 90 hours. So, we have time is equal to 90 and we have our function which is y is equal to 300 times 2 raised to time over 10. So, what we're going to do is simply just evaluate our function by substituting our given, which is 90 over 10. Then, solve na lang po natin or simplify. You will have 2 raised to 9. And 2 raised to 9 is equal to 512 times 300, which is equal to 153,600. So, therefore, there will be 153,600 bacteria after 90 hours. Next example, we have a certain radioactive substance decays half of itself every 5 days. Initially, there are 50 grams. Determine the amount of the substance left after 30 days and give an exponential model for the amount of the remaining substance. So, for us to solve example number 2, first thing we have to do is let's find or write our exponential model for our problem. Then from there, we can now solve our main problem, which is, ito nga po, ilan na lang daw ang matitira after 30 days sa ating 50 grams na radioactive substance. So, first thing we have to do to solve our example number 2 is to represent or write an exponential model for this problem. So, first thing we have to do is to represent our unknown variables, which is y be equal to the number of radioactive substance. And we have our t be the time in days. So, based from our problem, when our time is 0 or initially, when our time is 0, the number of our radioactive substance is 50 grams. Then, it will decay, it will decay half of itself every 5 days. So, let's say, after 5 days, what will happen now to our 50 grams? So, gagawin lang po natin, we will multiply our 50 by 1 half. So, 50 times 1 half is 25 grams. Then, how about if another 5 days naman ang lumipas? So, our time will be 10. So, ano na mangyayari sa ating function? So, you will have y is equal to 50. Still, sabi kasi sa problem, it will decay half of itself pa din every 5 days. And ano lang nangyari? Dumoble lang. Dumoble lang po yung ating 1 half. So, we will raise this one by 2. So, simplify lang natin. 1 half raised to 2 is 1 over 4 times 50. You will have 12.5 grams. How about for another 5 days na naman na lumipas? So, your time will be 15. So, what will happen now to your function? You will have 50 times 1 half. Then, umulit siya, no? 3 beses na nag-decay siya ng kalahati niya. So, that will be 1 half raised to 3. So, simplify, 1 half raised to 3 is 1 over 8 times 50, that is equal to 6.25. With this, we can now write our exponential model. So, we will have y is equal to 50 times 1 half raised to, so what happens with our time? So, from 5, maging 1, 10, naging 2, 15, naging 3. So, anong magiging exponent ng ating 1/2? It will be t over 5. So, therefore, ito na po yung ating exponential model or exponential function for our example number 2. Using this function, we can now easily determine the amount of substance left after 30 days. So, what we're going to do is just substitute from our function, which is y is equal to 50 times 1/2 raised to t over 5. So, evaluate lang po natin. We will have 50 times 1/2 raised to 30 over 5. And 30 over 5 is equal to 6. So, simplify lang po natin. 50 times 1/2 raised to 6 is equal to 0.78125 grams. So, after 30 days, ito na lang ang matitira sa ating radioactive substance. Let's move with example number 3. Aling Junicia deposits 10,000 pesos in BDO that pays 3% compound interest annually. Define an exponential model for this situation. How much money will she have after 11 years without withdrawals? What is compound interest? So, ang formula po for computing compound interest is A is equal to P times 1 plus R raised to T. So, ano po ba ito? So, this is, sabi is if a principal P or initial amount of money is invested at annual rate R. So, P is for the principal, R is for the rate, and you have the amount of time after t years. So, t stands for the time. So, this is the formula we used in computing for the compound interest. So, ano po ba ang compound interest in a simple definition? So, compound interest is when you earn interest on both the money you saved and interest on the interest you earn. So, yun po ang compound interest. So, for this problem, what we're going to do is, first, just like our previous examples, we are going to represent the problem into an exponential model or exponential function. Then, we are going to solve what is asked. For our problem number 3, it will be easy to define an exponential model for this situation if you know the formula. Such as this one, A is equal to P times 1 plus R raised to t. Kasi ang gagawin mo lang naman, kukunin mo yung mga given, then i-evaluate mo lang, substitute mo lang sa pinaka-formula mo for compound interest. However, let's assume na hindi natin alam yung ating formula, but we know the concept of compound interest. Again, this is an interest that you earn both from the money you save and from the interest. So, if that's the case, so let's analyze our problem. At the initial year, so as your t is equal to 0 or your time is equal to 0, ang initial or principal amount na in-invest ni Junicia is 10,000. So, after 1 year, based on our problem, yung 10,000 niya will be compounded, no? Compounded yung interest annually by 3%. And that 3%, this 3% is equal to 0.03 in decimal. So, you have your principal amount of 10,000. Remember that compound interest is the sum, no? Yung interest na nakuha mo, both dun sa principal na sinave mo, and then dun sa interest mismo. So, therefore, kunin natin yung interest in 3% dun sa ating principal amount na 10,000. Multiply natin siya by 0.03. So, 0.03 times 10,000, that is 300 pesos. Then, add lang po natin siya sa ating principal amount, which is now 10,300 pesos. Now, on the second year, hindi na po itong 10,000 ang gagamitin mo as your initial amount. So, kukunin mo na is yung 10,300 pesos. Then, still compounded annually by 3%. So, therefore, for the interest, you will have 10,300 times 0.03. Then, makukuha natin, compute natin yung ating compound interest. So, times lang po natin, 10,300 times 0.03 is 309. So, 309 plus 10,300, you will have 10,609 pesos. Let's have another year. So, ang T natin will be 3. Now, again, this will be now our principal amount, which is 10,609 plus, kunin natin yung interest nito, 10,609 times 0.03%. So, that is 318.27 pesos. So, add lang po natin siya sa ating principal. So, we will have now 10,927.27 pesos. So based dun sa ating mga kinumpute kanina, so again, compound interest is the principal amount together with the interest earned. Ayan, no? So, mapapansin natin dito sa ating mga kinumpute kanina na pwede pala nating i-simplify pa ito. So, wherein, saan halimbawa dito sa t is equal to 1 natin, you have 10,000, 10,000. Pwede nating i-factor out itong 10,000. Then, you will have 10,000 times 1 plus. Matitira na lang natin dito is yung ating rate na 0.03 pesos. Ayan. Next naman dito, sa ating second, meron tayo, ganun din, pwede natin i-factor out yung ating 10,300 pesos. Then, you will have 1 times plus 0.03. Then, pwede actually pa natin itong i-simplify na lang as 1.03. Then, last, ganun din dito sa ating third, i-factor out natin yung 10,609 pesos. Then, 1 plus, matitira na lang dito. Pag finactor out ang 10,609, matitira is 1 plus 0.03. Then, simplify lang natin. Magkakaroon tayo ng 1 is 1.03 times 10,609 pesos. So, nakikita nyo po ba ito? Ayan, no? Dito po yan, no? Sa ating, kung i-compare natin sa ating formula, nakikita mo yung pattern. So, therefore, we can say that an exponential model for this situation is A equal to our principal amount, which is 10,000 times 1 plus our interest, which is 0.03, and again, simplify na lang natin. Write natin siya as 1.03 times or raised by our time. So, ito po yung ating exponential function or exponential model for our problem number 3. Given our exponential model, we can now solve for what is asked, which is how much money will she save after 11 years without withdrawal. So, meron tayong time which is 11. Substitute lang po natin siya or evaluate lang po natin siya sa ating exponential function. So, mangyayari, we will have A is equal to 10,000 times 1.03 raised to 11. Then, compute lang po natin. You will have 10,000 when you raise 1.03 by 11, you will have 1.385 1,423,871. Then, multiply lang po natin ito by 10,000. You will have an answer which is 13,842.34 pesos. Round off natin yung ating final answer into decimal places. So, ayan po. After 11 years, Aling Junisha will have 13,842.34 pesos in her account.